For a long time in my life, I never really thought about millionaires or how one does become a millionaire. I kind of thought, well, there's rich people and there's the 95% of other people who are not rich, and that's just the way it is. But then when I started to learn about personal development and also stumbled upon the concept of financial freedom, the question popped up: how do people actually become millionaires? And in this video, I'm going to decrypt the different ways of becoming a millionaire that I found out. By the way, when I talk about being a millionaire, I mean at least $1 million in net worth. And if you now think, well, that's easy, you can become a millionaire by winning the lotto, marry someone rich for their money, or just inherit the million, then nope, I don't mean any of those ways. And to be honest, I also don't recommend them, because the first involves luck, the second involves being opportunistic and not in the good way, and third, it depends on someone to die, maybe even someone you love. So there are definitely nicer ways to build wealth than those. Alright, so I found there to be two main components. The first component is time. One can become a millionaire slow or fast. And when I say fast here, I mean less than 10 years. And maybe now you think, wow, 10 years, that's not very fast. And yes, there are some people who maybe make it in 2 or in 3 years. I've heard somewhere that the average is around 7 years. Either way, no one becomes a millionaire overnight, at least not the self-made version. It just doesn't exist. Sorry to break it to you. Even if you think of someone who made it like this, you're probably missing out on 90% of the rest of the story that led to the 1 million mark in the first place. So fast, less than 10 years. That also means the slow version of becoming a millionaire means everything over 10 years. And for most people, this will be 20 to 40 years, sometimes even longer. The second component of the matrix we're building here is the line of work. And down here we have employed, that means you're having a job where you regularly get paid. And up here you have the entrepreneur, that means someone who has their own business. Now along the spectrum will also be someone who is, for example, self-employed, like a freelancer. We'll cover that while we go through the different options. Alright, now let's start down here with slow and employed. And yes, it's true, if you are someone who likes to be employed and have a regular income, there's still the possibility for you to become a millionaire. So most likely you will have started early, maybe you started at zero, but when you manage to put aside at least $600 per month, maybe a little less at the start and maybe a little more over time, and you invest that money, and let's assume an interest rate of 6% per year, and you keep doing that for 40 years, then you will end up with a net worth of over $1 million. For simplicity reasons, I haven't corrected this for taxes and for inflation, but either way, it's just simple math. So this way down here will be save and invest. And here comes a little secret. Okay, not a little one, a big one. All the other options that we will be discussing in a minute will still require to save and invest money in order to at least stay a millionaire. Because when you earn $1 million but then spend it all, well, you're not a millionaire anymore. So I will increase that circle here in gray. When we now move up to the entrepreneur spectrum, we will have the people who are self-employed, because they eventually might make more money than employed people, but at the same time they have a higher overhead. So they have to pay social securities and insurances and taxes and all that stuff by themselves. And they also might have an irregular income. So they need higher cash reserves so that they also can cover the months where they earn less. So overall, by save and invest, they might hit the million mark a little sooner, but not so soon that it might cover our definition of fast, because it might also take them a couple of decades. Now you may be wondering why we still have space here for an entrepreneur that still becomes a millionaire slowly. Does she mean that they're not saving and investing? No, actually I don't. Because out there in the world, you will probably hear quite often that if you want to become a millionaire fast, you need to start a business. But the truth is that over 90% of small businesses make a revenue less than 1 million per year. And that doesn't even say anything about their profit. So there actually are a lot of business owners who are either low profit or low value in their business. And they will also end up in the slow category, because their income will not be high enough to reach that 1 million mark fast. So up here will be businesses with low profit and or low value. Now, of course, there will also be the classical way. There will be business owners out there that build a successful business and make those millions fast. And they will have a business model that is either high price, then they only need a few customers. For example, when you sell a service for $50,000 a year, then you only need to take on 20 customers per year to hit that $1 million mark. And the other business model would be to offer something normal priced, whatever normal means here, and then sell your product or your services to lots and lots of people. So this one needs to be at least a little bit scalable. One example would be that you have a product that you sell for $100, then you would need to sell it to 10,000 people per year in order to make a revenue of 1 million per year. So up here will be businesses with high profit and or high value. By the way, theoretically, here can also be a self-employed person who just makes a lot of money, but most likely those people will have turned it into a business for tax advantage. And that brings us on to our last field. Yes, there is actually a way to become a millionaire fast while being employed. And that is something you will not hear often, at least I haven't. I mean, of course, it's no secret that some jobs pay better than others do, but the actual range here is very important. For example, when I started working as a doctor, and usually doctors lead the list of the highest paying jobs, my initial salary was about 55,000 euros per year, and that was pre-tax. And I remember back then when I was hearing from people that they earn $100,000 per year, or even up to 130,000 per year, it sounded huge. And don't get me wrong, it's a nice salary to have. But only later have I found out that there are actually jobs out there that can pay up to 1 million per year while being employed. And I mean, maybe not in the first 3 years, but definitely later on. And that completely blew my mind, because I believe that to make millions, you need to start a business. But that's actually not necessary. It's important to mention though that the jobs that pay that much are often jobs with very few positions and also high competition. So those will be jobs in finance, like higher positions in investment banking, a partner in private equity or in venture capital, also portfolio managers of funds. They can also be partner at a huge law firm or in consulting. There will be doctors, but that will highly depend on the region and also on the specialty. Those were the more classical routes. But also, for example, if you have a position in a still very small startup, but that then grows fast and becomes successful. And then there's also sales in any kind of company. So some of those jobs, or maybe even most of that jobs, will involve profit sharing, owning equity in the company, and a commission-based pay. So this right here will be categorized as high paid work. And I will not put a number on this because obviously it depends on your willingness to save, on how fast you actually hit that 1 million mark. I mean, obviously, if you can keep your costs extremely low, like say $1,000 per month or less, then $100,000 per year after tax would be enough. I calculated that in order to hit the 1 million mark within 10 years at an interest rate of 6%, you would need to put aside $7,000 each month. Of course, if you earn even more and also save more, this can be much faster. So that were the secrets and also the various different ways of becoming a millionaire. If you are now wondering why lots of people don't become millionaires, you might be interested in this video next. Thank you for watching, and I hopefully see you in the next video. Bye bye.